training. That was pretty fast. Any questions about the demo before I move on? Okay, great. All right, so let's take a look at the code and see how some of this actually works. We're importing tabular data because what we're actually going to be using is a linear data regressor, which is fun. So if you notice on line 20, here's our machine learning linear regressor. That's actually the secret sauce. You basically create this. So here we're basically just grabbing CSV files and showing, okay, these are the fields that we want to actually look at. And that winds up being in a data form. So now comes the training. So training is very simple. In that list where I was choosing nav aids and obstructions, I was actually saying, okay, part of the training is, hey, these things that I've chosen, they get a score of 1. And all the stuff that I didn't choose gets a score of -1. So now in the results, we basically have predictions. So whenever we go from one data set to the other, now we're going to use our model to tell us, hey, this is what we think the score is for the data of the other airport, now that we're already trained. So it basically goes through, looks at the keywords. Keywords were obstruction, nav aid, right? And then it looks to see, okay, for everything that's in this list, no matter how many it is, does this look closer to a 1 or a -1? If it's a 1, put it in the list. If it's not, don't put it in the list. Pretty simple. And of course, you can also save the model. So on device, for fun, I actually showed a screenshot of a container that I downloaded. You can actually put in some metadata if you would like to say, hey, this is my model and this is what it's actually doing. And you can choose a path and a name for your model. And that's the source code on that. So pretty simple. So you can close down, restart up the app. It can read what you've saved. And now you've got your regressor in memory, and you can just use it to make predictions off of. Okay, final thoughts. I'm calling this a breadcrumb of Apple's Edge AI because if everything that they're going to be doing, and there's no telling what they're going to wind up doing, but I think for sure on-device processing is going to have a lot to do with it. You have less latency, you've got security, you've got privacy, all of those things you don't have when you're shipping all of your data off onto another server. And just for fun, a reminder, the A17, the neural engine on an iPhone Pro 15, which is what I have right here, processes 35 teraflops. That's moving. And machine learning, Apple has been very careful not to use the phrase AI very much. They've been using machine learning for a long time. I think that's why people haven't paid as much attention. But machine learning is just one piece of the broader AI umbrella. So the question I would like you to ask yourselves at the end of this is, are you ready for what Apple does next? If you haven't played with this, you have no idea about modeling, it's a pretty easy, low drag way to get in and get yourself familiar. And resources, framework information, and also talking about tabular data. One of the things that I didn't mention was in updating the app a little bit, the video, the WWDC video where they were showing how to use this, they were using string doubles. So if you actually tried to follow their code exactly, it's actually now string any. And that's really the only change. So if you run into that, if you start playing, be aware of that. And that's it. Any questions? Yes?
I'm thinking if you're trying to train off user behavior, is there a way to like aggregate models from multiple users and combine that to make the learnings better for like everyone, or is it just for like an individual user per app?
You can combine models, or even individually say, try against this model and now try against this other model, but you can't take those models because you don't have the training data.
Mm-hmm.
You would have to have all the training data in order to come up with one new model. So you can use multiple model files and still be able to grab scores or classifications based off of a number of them. That's a great question. Any other questions? Okay, awesome. Thank you for your time.